Monday, the 7th of October, was Labor Day, a public holiday to celebrate the establishment of the 8-hour day and the contribution of the labour movement in building our society. The concept of an 8-hour day was a key organising principle of the early trade union movement in Australia. The success of the Stonemasons Union in Melbourne in the 1850s in establishing 8 hours for work, 8 hours for rest and 8 hours for recreation was a world first. Mr Deputy President, the great Graham Freudenberg has said that Frank Dixon, a Yorkshire stonemason who arrived in Sydney in 1864, aged 32, more than any other Australian deserves the title of the father of the New South Wales Labor Party. Despite his passing in 1884, 7 years prior to the election of the first 35 Labor MPs, he was a key driver in the establishment of the New South Wales Trades and Labour Council in May 1871 and long advocated for the endorsement of Labor candidates for Parliament. Yet it wasn't until the aftermath of the Great Strike in 1890 that the Council outlined, while we must go on ever increasing our capacity for fighting, as we have fought before, the time has come when trade unionists must use the parliamentary machinery that has in the past used them. The worker must set about the work of reform where it seems that reform alone can be obtained, and that is in the Parliament. Mr Deputy President, our first parliamentary representatives were remarkably elected only a year later. As a member of the State Parliamentary Labor Party, I stand here only as a result of these hard-working men and women and the many since who seek to improve the lives and the lot of working people in new ways. Labor Day is an important opportunity to reflect on the incredible history and contribution of our movement to safer working conditions, penalty rates, annual leave, and even weekends. It has been the union movement who have led the fight for equal pay for women and for the establishment of superannuation to ensure that working people can enjoy their retirement. And tonight, I wish to also highlight the ways that the labour movement continues to fight on behalf of workers in new and innovative ways to ensure their interests are protected. Unions New South Wales, once known as the Trades and Labour Council, is now led by Mark Morey, and they have led the public campaign on wage theft, paid leave for victims of domestic violence, and the ongoing fight for safer workplaces and secure work. I particularly want to acknowledge the very effective campaign led by Thomas Costa against wage theft by celebrity chefs. The STA, led by Bernie Smith and Barbara Nebart, and their Take the Time campaign has fought to protect the very last public holidays that retail workers can spend with their families. Just in recent weeks, it has been the SDA who exposed wage theft at Bunnings, who had cheated their workers out of superannuation for almost a decade. Led by Dan Walton, the Australian Workers' Union secured an innovative enterprise agreement that kept the steelworks at Port Kembla open, saving hundreds of local jobs. They also launched Hairstylists Australia to save to fight weekend penalty rates for hairdressers. They continue to advocate on a range of public policy issues, undaunted by difficult debates on gas or nuclear energy on behalf of their workers. Led by Gerard Hayes, the HSU continues to fight for security guards to ensure our public hospitals are safe for the whole community and that staff, visitors and patients aren't unfairly whacked with parking fees when they are working or visiting their local hospital. Led by Justin Page, the ETU has fought hard and very smart to hold the National Party to account on their promise not to cut any regional jobs, protecting hundreds of jobs of essential energy workers across country New South Wales. The RTBU has fought to protect our public transport to remain in public hands, and the TWU has led the fight for fair wages for workers in the gig economy. Mr Deputy President, in the 19th century, the Stonemason Society argued for a shorter working day for three main reasons. Australia's harsh climate demanded reduced hours, labourers needed time to undertake education, and that workers would be better fathers or mothers, husbands or wives, and citizens if they were allowed adequate leisure time. 163 years later, that fight continues, but so much remains the same.